Sweatshirt. All right, fire away.
Coach, I know it was against backups for Clemson, but whatever you saw from James on Saturday, was that surprising? Has he shown you that ability in practice?
No, not surprising at all. I mean, there's a reason he plays at Florida State, and there's a reason he played last year. You know, when his number was called, excited to see him play well. To go out there and do his job. Not only him, but we had a bunch of young players. Go out there and play well. Keyshawn Hilton also went out there and did a great job, and so excited for those guys, something to build on. And I think for us, really short-sighted. We didn't get the job done. And it's a miserable feeling, to fail like that. But again, a lot of positive moving forward and on into the future.
What's it say about James that he was ready when his time came? I understand the context of the game, but he made a throw when he had to.
Yeah, and made a few. He wasn't perfect either. There's always room for improvement. Took a sack that he didn't have to take, trying to run around and make a play. Which in that situation I get. You're trying to, go do something. But there's a couple things we can clean up with him. But just excited for him, because if there is a kid that could possibly deserve it, it's him. Does anybody want to ask questions with the leaf blower on?
We've seen, even when he hasn't played this year, kind of James's leadership on the sideline. What do you think he kind of means to this team, even when he's not on the field?
I think that's one of the things that makes James so special. And I think probably everybody kind of felt that last year, but James is a great teammate. And I think that's part of being, a requisite of this position, he kind of, I know Coach Taggart made mention yesterday about Marvin, and Marvin being a guy that kind of is, everything that we want a Florida State Seminole to be, and James is right there with him in my eyes, and so I'm always proud of James, how he works, how he handles his business, how important this team is to him, and, just as long as he cannot change, keep doing what he's doing, I think he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
On the touchdown pass, Keyshawn goes upfield and scores, but Trayshawn Harrison's up there hustling a block for him to Marion Terry downfield. To see those guys still hustling in that moment, I guess, what does that say about the guys who were on the field at that time?
Yeah, that's hard to do. I've been in those, when you play at the place I played at in college, and you play 4 or 5 of those games a year, where you've got to go, pay the bills for the university, and, to your personal pride, and how you play and how you perform, even in moments of adversity, that being important to you, I think that reflects on their character, how they were brought up, their parents, and their fortitude and their toughness. And so proud of those guys and really appreciative of those guys doing that in a situation like that.
How much of the screen game having hiccups is accuracy? It seems like on those plays, if the ball's not like chest high fastball, and if it's too low, too high, those screen plays kind of.
But yeah, well, the one thing I'll say is, in the perimeter screen, it's all about, can you give them a ball where they can transition and run, and so again, that's repetition. That's something that typically year 2, year 3 of the system, when that's, we throw perimeter screen every day. We do that every day for a reason. It's not just catch and throw. You got to clear it back. You've got to get people in the right spots and targets. And so that's something that will improve moving forward. But I think it's just making sure that it's a ball you can transition with. A ball in the upfield pass, so a guy can drop a foot, get vertical, and get rolling. So, a big part of that is on the quarterback.
Coach Taggart kind of talked about yesterday that thing he's seen kind of the hardest transition with the culture change he's trying to bring is kind of staying tough when the team hits adversity.
Mm-hmm.
Do you kind of get that impression? And is there a fix for that, or?
No, it's you talk about it. You talk about it. You demand it. You put kids in stressful situations, and you make them find a way to overcome it. There's no substitution for repetition in life. You just hope that those repetitions come in practice and not in front of a bunch of people in a big game on national television. But there's 2 ways of looking at it. You can look at that thing as, a complete failure, which in many ways it was. That's what we're ultimately there to do, is to go win a game, and we failed to do that. Whether we did it 31-30 or 100-0, it's all a failure. Nobody feels good about losing a football game. Or you can look at it as a way where it's a great learning experience where, if it ever happens again, we're better equipped to overcome the adversity presented, So to me, as long as we learn from it and we find a way to get better from it, there is a positive. It's just not going to feel real good for, this weekend.
Like when you lose a game like that, is there anything you look for this week in practice from your guys, just mentally?
And I think, obviously with Coach Taggart and kind of what he said after the game and what he said to the team on Sunday, I expect us to have a really good football practice today. I really do. And I will say this, I've said it a bunch of times publicly, and I'll say it again, our head football coach is as good with the kids of any guy I've ever been around. And so I would expect probably our best effort today that we've had, or as good as possible. He is as good as there's been handling the kids and getting the best out of them. So we got a lot of work to do. We got to keep getting better. We got to get healthy. There's plenty of things that we have to do, but I expect a great one today.
How many more things do you guys have in the bag to try to get the run game going somehow, some way?
Yeah, there's a couple parts to that. Just earlier I alluded to the fact there's no substitution for repetition, anything you do in life. You want to be the best weightlifter, lift weights. You want to be the best at running the football, you got to go. So there's two parts to that. You can either minimize scheme and just make sure that we're giving our kids a chance to get great at something, or you can do other things knowing that you're going to sacrifice a little bit of practice efficiency to get that done in terms of how many reps they're going to have before they have to go do it in real life. I think for us, it's, again, establishing continuity, making sure that we consistently do the things at practice that we've got to do on game day. And so how much more? Obviously, I can't tell you all that. We got to go game. We got to go find a way to win. But, I think there's a blend of both. We got to get better at what we do, get more consistent in the schemes that we run, but also there's a place probably to add a few things that can help take some stress off of those guys.
Has running back under center run its course in college football? Or is
no, dude, there's a million ways to win. If you can say running back under center has run its course, then you go look at Wisconsin. There's plenty of ways to run the football. You look back at Coach Taggart's past, they've been top 10, top 15 in a run game like every year that I think he's been a head coach, whether he was under center, hammering it at Western or moving to the spread and making that transition. So, obviously there's a million ways to run the football. This is just what we feel is the best way to do it, and we got to continue to improve on that.
You mentioned that I think the last 3 years he was 12th, 5th, and 11th in the nation in rushing the football. And this year, I think 127th.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just as simple as you got to get better up front?
No.
Like a lot better up front?
Do we need to? Absolutely. We got to get better everywhere. We got to get better at taking that's a really simple way to look at things. When I say simple, I don't mean dumb. I don't mean, I don't want to be insulting to anybody, but we got to get better everywhere. We got to get better in the execution of the run polish. We got to get better being more patient at tailback. We got to get better at, double teaming a 3 technique to a backside backer on inside zone. There's improvement that has to happen anywhere. I think that the most important thing is you don't take a short-sighted approach to it. Because again, there is a really bright future here, and to go wholesale and throw all that out and try to make all these changes, well then next year, now we've lost that library of repetitions, and so for me it's nobody wants to hear it. The answer is to stay the course. The answer is because we know it works. Our head football coach knows it works. We've seen it be successful a year ago, and so I think the fastest way to, ensure that the transition is successful is to stay the course and get better at what we do.
Do you know how you guys are going to plan figuring out your starting quarterback for this weekend?
Oh, I knew that was coming, and that I can't answer that one. All right, but
do you guys do you want to see certain days of practice, or do you guys think you already have a good idea now?
What Coach Taggart said yesterday? Day to day, he's got to practice. All right, day to day, he's got to practice, man. Dude, I'm a good soldier now. I told you all that when I got here.
I'm a good guy.
I do exactly what I'm asked to do as hard as I can do it. But we obviously, he's a tough kid, man. He'll be ready to go.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.